What's up, y'all? Joe Patrick here, Dirty South Soccer. Just wanted to do a quick little tactical thing for you before we head into Atlanta United's match on Wednesday against FC Cincinnati, because there was some interesting tactical things that Frank de Boer talked about after Atlanta United's loss to the Columbus Crew on Saturday, and just wanted to kind of dive into those a little bit with you guys. The main gist of his point, I'm not going to repeat his exact quote, because doing that with Frank de Boer can get a little bit tedious and hard to do, but his general point that he made after the game was that the team was just too quick and didn't really choose the right moments to try to counterattack and transition. And I think he wasn't very pleased with the moments that Atlanta United decided to try to do that. I think he thought it was a little too risky, and we can see that in the footage. So let's roll right into it. The first one is the most glaring one. It's the one that Frank de Boer used to kind of illustrate his point post-game, which was a pass made by Justin Meram. I'm going to start the footage here. I didn't show this because I just didn't want the video to go on for too long, but Columbus, this comes right out on the back of a Columbus attack on Atlanta United's goal. So all the players have just sprinted back, 60 yards or whatever to get in this position. So we'll roll the tape now. And we can see, now it's a sprint the other way. Guys going, and let's pause it right here at midfield. And you can see that this is not a great counterattacking opportunity for Atlanta United. I mean, Joseph Martinez is surrounded by 3 Columbus center backs. Pity Martinez has a man right on his back, kind of tugging at his shoulder. You can see they're going to try to play a little bit with each other, but it's just not a great opportunity. Now let's stop it here again when the ball gets to Meram, and we can kind of see what he's looking at, right? He sees Julian running through this channel between the fullback and the center backs, and he thinks, okay, well, maybe I can, curl a ball in there and zip it in through that gap. Again, I see what he's trying to do with it, but let's be real. That's a very low percentage pass. That's a pass that is completed maybe, one in every 10 times. You need supreme skill and quality to be able to complete it. And even the best players in the world will get that pass cut out by a defender many times, many more than they'll complete. And that's exactly what happened here. Meram tries to make the pass. It gets cut out. Now let's stop it, because this is important. This is another thing that Frank de Boer talked about after the game, which was that when Atlanta United got themselves in these positions where they were stretched out in the transition phase, now there's no real bodies left in midfield to win these second balls, which is something that Atlanta United has been so good at all year. You can see there's a loose ball here that's ready to be won, and there aren't really many bodies around, not nearly as many as Columbus has back to defend it. So Columbus is able to then win the ball. And then now you're kind of broken. Now you're basically going to concede a chance now that Columbus has gotten themselves into this position. I think that this is where people are getting. It's easy to look ahead and look at the actual defending on the goal in the box and say, this player should have done this player should have done that, the punch was bad, et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, those things are, probably true. There's probably merit and validity to those points, but the problem is just getting yourself in this position where Giassi Zardes is running at Miles Robinson one-on-one. Now, Miles Robinson is a great defender, but, you never want a striker running one-on-one at a center back. Even someone who's as good at one-on-one defending as Miles Robinson, when you get in these positions too many times, it's going to bite you, because Atlanta United was in this position many times throughout the game, and many times Miles Robinson did cut out the play, and the defenders made the plays and they were able to thwart the attack. But in this case, when it happens so many times, eventually the opposing team is going to break through, and that's what happened here. As you can see, Zardes comes in and the goal is eventually scored. All right, and the second example here, less to do with transition, more just about the choice of pass that the players were making and the fact that those passes had a lot of risk involved. Let's roll the footage here, and we can see that it's going to be Eric Rometti that makes the pass. There's a little bit of build-up play, which is good. Now let's pause it right when he's about to make the pass right now. So let's kind of examine what's going on here. First of all, he's trying to pass the ball to Justin Meram here on the left wing, and from my point of view, there's no way he can possibly get the ball to Justin Meram in time without the right back cutting out this ball. It's just a matter of physics, really. I don't see how the right back is only a few steps away from Meram, and the ball is going to take some time to get there. So there's plenty enough time for that right back to pick out that pass, and indeed he does, and it leaves Atlanta again in a really bad position where they're not able to press. and win the ball back. Let's see. Now Columbus has won the ball back. Miram is out of the play because the pass was short. And so he's already behind the ball the instant it turns over, and it puts Florentine Pogba in a pickle because normally what the team wants to do, and I'm going to show you in a second, is that the team wants to immediately counter press once the ball has been turned over and try to win it back as quickly as possible. But in this instance, with Miram behind the play, Pogba now has two guys on the left flank that he is responsible for, both the player with the ball, and then there's a player, I think it's Diaz, who's going to make the run to the right wing in behind Pogba. So Pogba initially steps up, and then with Diaz's pace, he's beaten in behind, and that just leads to another fast break. All right, now I want to look at a couple clips where Atlanta United actually did well to prevent these kind of counterattacks that we've just illustrated how they were exposed. These aren't, successful attacks by Atlanta United, but you can see through these attacks how they are able to keep the counter threat at a minimum and, able to continue playing their game. So let's roll with this first one. Julian Gressel has the ball on the right. And you can see Atlanta's just playing the ball around, and look how deep, look at Columbus's players, look at how they're positioned. Literally, when the ball is turned over, even Giassi Zardes is in his own defensive third. I mean, they are all packed back, and it just makes it so much harder for them to attack. You'll see when they win the ball, they do try to, go out to their wingers. Their wingers start running wide and forward, and they try to exploit those areas. But the team is just positioned in a way where Atlanta is able to pretty easily win the ball back. They've got the numbers. They're able to win that ball and recycle possession and restart an attack. And in this last clip, again, I'm going to roll a little bit longer because I want to show the entire buildup and kind of how, methodical it is. And I know that, fans always want to see the gung-ho, aggressive nature of this team. And there's definitely a time and place for that, for sure. But, with all these players packed back, all you can do is have a slow buildup. And so this is what you want to do, because watch how Columbus's shape just naturally moves back, gets more compact, and it makes it harder for them to break out once Atlanta turns the ball over, as they're about to do here. You can see Pity Martinez tries to swing the ball out similarly to what Eric Remedi did earlier, but this time the Columbus is pushed so far back, it's Diaz, the right winger, who's now coming back to intercept that ball. And now that his back is turned and he's one of the attacking outlets, Columbus just doesn't have the same way that they can break out. Diaz tries, Miles Robinson is able to intercept, and again, Atlanta's able to neutralize the threat. So these are some of the minor details of what Frank de Boer wants to see with this team. I think it's something that it's a fine balance, right? We want to see this team attacking and being fun, and there's definitely a place for that. But they have to pick and choose the right times, because if you don't choose the right time to do it, you leave yourself exposed and you start leaking goals and you lose a game against a team like the Columbus Crew, which is a game you should never be losing. So hopefully Atlanta can do better against Cincinnati in this regard. I think they will. This team is really surprising for them to lose even 2 MLS League games in a row. So we'll see. It's something to pay attention to when these teams go toe-to-toe Wednesday night.